What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today, it's not really an update video, but it's got tons of updates in it. And as we enter the new year, I think we've gotten a little bit of a roadmap as to what to expect from Dead by Daylight. So let's just go ahead and dive into clown changes, HUD reworks, and even more. Let's look into it. So the developers have given us an update, and they're doing kind of an update diary, which is a 14-minute video where they basically read the updates and dive into what those do for you. If you don't want the long version, here's the short version on my channel. If you guys didn't know, we're getting a clown update. The biggest thing about the clown update is that we're getting the afterpiece antidote. This is a second bottle that does the opposite of what his tonic does. It speeds you up by 10%, or speeds up survivors by 10%. There's an interesting mind game that I think is going to happen with this. So you could switch to the yellow gas, throw it on the ground, boost yourself, or boost survivors, maybe lure them to an area by throwing one of those bottles. They run through it, they boost to a dead zone, something of that nature. Very interesting idea. I don't know that I love it, but I'm interested to see how it plays out. Now, of course, they've reduced the reload time to 3 seconds instead of 5 seconds. That's a big deal because the reload time is pretty tough on the clown right now. And they are redoing the clown add-ons, which is particularly interesting as well. So that is the clown. We'll be able to see more of that very soon, hopefully. And probably that'll be introduced, if I had to say, that'll be introduced in the game as early as Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. So we'll see how that goes. Now, they're talking about an updated HUD. Now, I've read this a few times. I got to go back through it. But the updated HUD is something that's very interesting. A lot of you guys may watch tournaments and things like that. Some of you don't. But there's a few things to know about the HUD, right? Character portraits are going to be in the corner, which is awesome. If Dwight is your obsession or whatever, you can go after the Dwight. Or you can avoid him if you have saved the best for last. It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. I really enjoy that feature, actually, being able to know, like, oh, okay. Cool. Here are the survivors, right? You don't have to remember the names necessarily. It makes it a little bit easier for Killer. 5 gens remaining. I like that idea. Now, if we go over here, again, 5 gens remaining, it doesn't change too much. But this will show you who's downed. And obviously you have your other like characters and things like that. So this is particularly interesting. They go in and say, next to each survivor's portrait, you'll find a hook counter. This will help you remember who's been hooked, who hasn't, and who can't afford to be hooked again. Killers will also see a meter showing their hook progress to give them an idea of how well they're doing. So I don't mind this, right? Like, this is neat. I think one part of the skill of Dead by Daylight is remembering who had been hooked twice and who hadn't and things like that. So, you know, I enjoyed being somebody who could remember all that. I understand if everybody can't, so it's fine that they're doing this, but I kind of wish that they didn't add the hook states. It's fine. And then they're adding UI scale options. So are you squinting at a tiny screen, they say? You'll find new options to increase or decrease the size of the HUD in the options menu. So, and to any streamers out there, don't worry, we didn't forget you. We made sure to leave space for you to put your cameras without covering up any important HUD elements. So yeah, there's like maybe this corner here or up here. I liked mine in the upper left. Thank you. But all right, so they're doing something with survivor locomotion animation. So they're not changing how fast survivors move, their turn radiuses, the acceleration, nothing like that. Those things are staying the same, but they are changing the animations for how survivors look when moving and things of that nature, right? And so this is kind of what some of that looks like, all right? So like there's like you slow to a stop, right? So things look a little bit more natural. It's a little bit more fluid, right? You may not actually notice. I kind of like it. It's nice, right? So if you're not holding the button all the way, you kind of slow to a walk. It's nice. It's a smooth animation. I like it. GG to the team. The wounded animation looks way better. Holy hell, though. Like the one arm drooping, I like that a lot better. Flashlights don't look quite as crazy. The crouching with a flashlight doesn't look quite as crazy. The crawling looks better. It looks actually how somebody would kind of army crawl. You know, shout out to my boy Bill. Getting dropped on the ground. Yeah, all of it looks a lot smoother. It looks like the amount of frames for the animation looks appropriate as well. So, ooh, look at that. They get up with the unbreakable. You didn't know about it, but they brought it. Yo, that actually looks really slick. I like that a lot. It's better than just popping up and being like, boink. Like, you know what I mean? So it's pretty cool. I like that. I'm into that. GG to the team. A lot of people would ask like why these changes, but the game needs to look a little bit more professional, needs to look a little bit better, right? As the game comes 5 years forward. I like that stuff. It's small stuff, but like I'm into it. I'm into it, you know, and the team's been working on the side doing that while they're actually working on new content. Hell yeah. So, all right. Now we're talking about matchmaking, rating, and rank rewards. All right. So they say starting with good news, matchmaking ratings are returning. We've been hard at work tweaking the system since our test last year, and we're preparing to re-enable skill-based matchmaking for another test soon. Shit. This system did not work the first time, as you guys remember. It was a lot of like rank 1s with rank 20s. And it's like, these are brand new players playing against some of the most seasoned killers in the game, and it was rough. I hope it works out, all right? So, they also say they're introducing rank rewards. So ranks will no longer be used for matchmaking. They will instead be repurposed to reward dedicated players. Each month, everyone will be given blood points based on the highest rank they've reached, and then be reset to rank 20. So this is going to be like a weird... I don't mind this, right? Because if ranks don't matter, right, then... And matchmaking is purely based on skill, which is scary. Then in theory, by reaching rank 1, you just keep getting dope blood points, right? I think these blood point rewards are a little bit small considering the investment you have to make to hit rank 1 over and over and over again. 'Cause the assumption is you hit rank 1, you reset, you get the points for the rank that you hit, the highest rank you hit. 250,000 is not much. So, but they also need to keep the grind in the game so people... And the graphics update, we talked about this live on stream yesterday. Crotus Prent Asylum looking extra spicy. It actually looks like it burnt down. I forgot that building burnt down. It just kind of looks like poo. But this update looks great. I'm really into you see the ash and the ember like glowing. I hope they keep that aesthetic in the new one. We see Gideon's got lights downstairs. Oh, what? That's pretty exciting, actually. You can see downstairs now. That's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. So, that's insane. Yeah. They are updating the Wraith. That's right, my boy, he's coming back. He's getting completely invisible beyond 24 meters, somewhat visible between 24 and 16, and then he'll be unchanged within 16 meters. So if you guys know the Wraith, how he kind of shimmers and he's like the Predator, all right, the closer, if he's really close to you within 16 meters, you'll be able to see that shimmer. Outside of 16 meters, though, he'll be completely invisible. And then he'll be between, or outside of 24 meters, he'll be invisible. And then between 24 and 16, he'll be like kind of visible. I don't like this. I think Wraith needs to just, here's the thing. Wraith needs more. Wraith needs a little bit more. Because he's just a weaker spirit is really what it is. Unfortunately. So I feel like Wraith needs more. He needs a base bonus to breaking pallets while he's cloaked or something, right? He needs more. But you know, we're gonna see what happens. The Trapper, they've updated the Trapper. You stepped in a trap, all right. So previously, they're saying that you would have a 25% chance to escape a trap each attempt. This sounds simple, but 4 attempts only adds up to roughly a 68% chance to escape. That's statistics. Don't try to figure that out. So they're switching to flat distribution. Each time a survivor steps in a trap, it will take them between 1 and 6 attempts to escape. So between 1 and 3 attempts, the chance to escape is lower. At the 4th attempt, the chance to escape is roughly the same as before, which makes no sense. And then the 5th and the 6th attempt, basically you get a higher chance. So they're just trying to take the RNG out of it. Now, I don't know why they don't take that RNG and apply it to pig head traps, but we'll get there. This isn't a huge change. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, they want to keep the excitement. Like, I hope I'm going to escape. I hope I get out. I hope I get out. I don't know. I mean, you could try to attempt, like, you could attempt to escape like 10 times and never get it. So, you know, I don't hate this, but, you know, it is what it is. Deep Wound. Deep Wound is useless, I think. That's why Legion's so weak, is because of Deep Wound, I think. But Deep Wound has gone through a few iterations, and the once reasonable 30-second timer now seems a little too generous. We will simplify deep wounds. The deep wound timer is 20 seconds long, regardless of how it is applied. The Legion's add-ons that remove deep wound time have been adjusted accordingly. We wanted to add a bit more urgency to mending, while also leaving room for edge cases. So, such as snapping out of madness and things like that. So, interesting change there. Diversion has found its way into the hearts of many people in spite of not being powerful. We believe that the world should have more pebbles. With that in mind, we're reducing the time taken to activate diversion and simplifying its perk tiers to make it more usable at lower tiers. So diversion's getting a buff. Fixated. Don't you hate it when you get hit so hard that you forget how to walk slightly faster? Fixated will now remain active even if you're injured. Fixated is an amazing perk. It's getting buffed. Hex Undying. Gotta pop a Red Bull for this one. All right, we've been watching closely, and we have things we'd like to address. Transferring the same hex multiple times can get out of hand. Hexes are meant to be strong perks that could be destroyed, and having to destroy the same hex 4 times can be a bit much. Yes. Since tokens aren't transferred when a hex changed totems, Undying was unpopular with perks other than Ruin. Having aura reading on all totems also made it very powerful tracking perk on top of its other effects, and it's a little redundant with Hex Thrill the Hunt. With this in mind, we're making 3 changes to Undying. Let's hear about it, Sally. Anytime a Hex totem is cleansed, it will replace the Hex Undying totem. Hex Undying is then deactivated. This ensures that the first totem cleansed is never your other Hex perk. Any tokens you've already accumulated are now kept when the Hex perk transfers totems. This way, you're not starting from scratch partway through a match. Aura reading only applies to dull totems. Holy shit. All right, so you got 2 totems. You got Hex Ruin, you got Hex Undying. Anytime a Hex totem is cleansed, Hex Ruin goes away, Undying disappears, and Ruin takes its place. Undying is then deactivated. Yes! No more boring metas. Hail to the king. You get 2 totems, baby. Having to run small game and run Detective's Hunch every single match just to like get every Look, if you're a killer player, you shouldn't be crutching on 1 perk, all right? If you're survivors, it sucks to know you didn't die to a good killer. You died because you couldn't find the 1 totem on the map or because your team just decided to not look for it, all right? There's a difference between dying to a good killer or dying to the killer's perks, all right? I'm so glad this is getting changed. As a killer main, I did not run this meta at all. I will feel far less bad about doing it. All right, Iron Maiden. It can be very difficult to follow up a hit on a survivor within 15 seconds, so the expose from Iron Maiden lasts for 30 seconds. Open-handed is changing a little bit. So the range bonus to open-handed is 8, 12, and 16 meters versus just the standard 8. So applying open-handed with Kindred, now you can read auras for an insane radius. Hell yeah. In Second Wind, we're reducing the time it takes for Second Wind to heal you after being unhooked. That was a long-winded list of updates, and I'm excited for nearly all of them. The HUD update's looking pretty slick, and we don't have dates on most of this stuff, but we can assume it's in the next probably month or so, all right? The biggest thing, Hex Undying changes, Clown changes, map updates, and skill-based matchmaking. Hallelujah! Praise the devs. Thank you guys for working so hard on the game. Thank you guys for stopping by the stream. What are you most scared about? What are you excited for? Because there's a lot to be excited for here. The state of DBD is better than it's ever been, and yes, that's my opinion. Mean comments down below, I'm sure. But let me know what you guys think. I'm going to sip my Red Bull, get some water, and pray to the entity. See you guys in the next video.